Hello students, I am Sandeep, your teaching assistant for MM101. I hope you all are safe, you all are doing fine and looking forward to the start of week 8, especially for MM101. So I am here to discuss about week 8's tutorial, and this week, as mentioned by a course coordinator on Moodle, that we are discussing your midterm project report. And as well, during my tutorial classes in week 7, we had just very briefly gone over the contents of this midterm project report. So sit back, make yourself comfortable, and let's start with today's lesson. So I will just give you the template for the report itself. So if you like, you could follow this, or you could make up your own, as long as it follows the same contents. So you could start off with the title of the course, followed by your project topic, and include the group name. So by now each group should have a unique name, okay? And include all the names and IDs of your group members, as well as include the particular tutorial session which your group has enrolled in. Following that, you'll have the table of contents, so it will make it easier for the readers to follow what is the contents of this report and where on which page they are able to find it. So first things first, starting off with the introduction. So it will provide the reader with a summary information, or with the gist of the information about what this project is about, what is contained inside the project, what the group is trying to solve, and what could be the expected outcome. So you will discuss in this section the topic in the broad context, and include how your group intends to solve this engineering problem with respect to the engineering design process which you have covered in your lectures. So additionally, you will provide information about the contents of this report, including the problem statement, the design brief, and these all have to be in just a few sentences. The literature review, the design criteria, possible solution, and its evaluation. So you could write a few sentences about it. So the introduction, it is just a page long, and 4 paragraphs maximum should be enough. Now, following the introduction, you'll have the problem statement. So if you recall, in the beginning of the semester, in one of your tutorials, you had a statement from Mr. Spock. So he had asked you to design an electric vehicle for his employees. So all that statement which we read out in class, that can be taken as a problem statement. So it is like a story which justifies the reason for you to be doing that project, okay, and what it is solving. So over here in your case, so the problem statement will give the justification on what your project is setting out to achieve, and most importantly, what the problem is intending to solve. Okay, so I'm pretty sure and confident that this is week 8, so all the groups have formulated a very good problem statement, and you're past this stage now. Following the problem statement, you have the design brief. So the design brief is a statement of what your group is intending to design, and what would be the key element or features of your design, and who are expected to be the end users, as well as any constraint. So if, for example, if I'm designing a wheelchair which has to be manufactured locally, so in my design brief, I will list down the materials, which not very specifically, but in a broad way, I will list down what materials the wheelchair is expected to be made out of, okay, what should be the rough cost of manufacturing a wheelchair, what will be the key components of the wheelchair, okay, and all those things, okay. And you may include some specifications which the design has to be, within which the design has to be developed. So that becomes your design brief. It gives just brief information about design, because here we do not know, or you do not know, what will be the final outcome. So are very much welcome to play around with the design brief at this stage. So roughly it will just be half a page and giving all the important information about your intended design. Moving on to the literature review. So the literature review is the most extensive part, I would say, of this midterm report. Okay, this is about gathering information as much as possible related to your own design. So let's using the example of the wheelchair again. So in my literature review, for example, I would have information about the wheels. Okay, how big are the rear wheels of a wheelchair, how the front wheels of the wheelchair, how big or small they are. Okay, what is the back support made out of. Okay, how does the braking system of the wheelchair work? On average, what is the width, the length and the height of the wheelchair? What materials do they use to manufacture wheelchair? How do they make the wheelchair portable so that it is able to fit in a vehicle? Okay. And what are some of the safety features of a wheelchair? Okay, so because I know, even though I'm making a wheelchair, I know that there are some existing designs out there. So I will gather as much information as possible about all the key components, all the design features, all the aspects of and in your case, you will do the same. So it would be preferred that you have your literature review in subsections or focusing on each key components of your design. That would make your literature review very comprehensive. And it's important that your literature review, it follows all the proper referencing style, because you're picking information, mostly you will be getting information online, so do follow proper referencing style. In this course we are following the IEEE format. Okay. And the reason for doing literature review is to remember that your designs have to be practical, and so to speak, it does not defy the laws of physics. So again, going back to the example of the electric vehicle, so when in my tutorial classes, when I asked you to do a short presentation, so for your electric vehicle designs, you just pick things or information out of thin air about where or what your designs will contain. So you can't do that here in this project, so you'll have to have proper referencing for it. So I hope that clears any doubts about literature review. Now moving on to the design criteria. Okay, these are the boundaries and the limitations that will restrict the design. And so over here it is now time for you to get technical with the design. So the design criteria is very much specific to the product your group is intending to design. You can list at least 4 to 5 design criteria, and for each design criteria that you list, you make sure that you explain about it or give details about it as to how it is important in your design and how does it restrict your design. So for example, this could be some of the design criteria. It could be portability is one of them, performance, safety, material, cost. And as you can see, I have a table here where each design criteria has been explained. So this is forms under possible selection evaluation. We'll get back to this later on. So for your design criteria, you list each design criteria and explain about it. And then after design criteria, then you'll come to the possible solutions. So we have discussed in very much detail about what possible solutions are like. So they are freehand isometric sketches which closely resembles the solution to the problem that your group is trying to solve. So the sketches are drawn up to reflect the information you have outlined in the design brief, and the minimum number of possible solutions required for this project task is 3. You just need to put the sketches on A4 paper, making sure that you use the appropriate title blocks as well as the labeling standards. Okay, and if it is possible, then because you will be submitting this report, so with each possible design, of which each possible solution, you could include a separate page which explains or gives information about the design. So that will really much help to understand your possible solution. Now comes the part of possible solution evaluation. So now let's say, for example, you have 3 possible solutions. How do we decide which one is your final solution? So what we do is we evaluate those possible solutions. So here we take a calculated approach in deciding which possible solution would most closely resemble the final design. So each possible solution is assessed against the design criteria, and the one which has the highest score is chosen as the final design. So sometimes the other possible solution, they do not make it to the final stage. However, you could include some key features of the design in your final solution. So you could have a scoring system, 1 being the worst and 5 being the best. So for each design criteria, you put your possible solutions and then you score them. So in terms of portability, how does your 3 possible solutions they fare again with respect to portability? So that's one design criteria, and you have ranked all your 3 possible solutions against it. So you'll do the same for the other design criteria you have, and at the end you'll total it up. So whichever possible solution gets the highest score, that is, or that will be most likely be your final solution. So yes, so that's all you need to have. Okay, there is one other section which I have forgotten, so you will add a reference here. I will write here reference. Okay, so and you please follow the proper referencing style. Now so that would complete your midterm project report. Now I know this is everything is happening online, so if possible, do make contact with your other group members and as to how you will be approaching this report and what would be the best way forward to complete this report. I believe this report is due by the end of week 8, so give it your best shot, and once I have your reports, then I will be providing you feedback where you can improve or you can make changes. Okay, and that will help you in terms of your project for this course. So that's it from my side, and your respective teaching assistants will be online during their tutorial time. So if you do have any questions, do let them know on the discussion forum. I will also try to set up a Zoom meeting. And I will give you the username, the ID and the password. So during my tutorial time, I would try my best to be online. So you can come online as well and ask me any questions related to this project or any questions related to MM101 in particular. So stay safe, and I will see you in the next video, most probably next week. Thank you.